I don't desire to make this like a generational kind of thing, but often we do hear it put in that capacity. Like, your generation is all about social media. Your dating is through social media. Your interactions are through social media. And that creates a distance between live interaction. But in being close to you, Kara, and in having interactions with younger people, I don't necessarily find that to be the case. So I think it is important to make that distinction. Social media can be a tool, and it can be a very valuable tool. But there are ways that social media can really eat away at the self-compassion that you guys have as well. And so can we talk about how it is helpful for you, like, again, getting to know your roommate, but also how it can not necessarily be the most valuable tool, but can actually almost be a self-deprecating weapon when you start comparing yourselves to one another, and maybe how you can pull yourselves out of that in times when it happens. Have you ever found that social media can actually make you feel worse about yourself instead of better?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's really easy to compare yourself, whether it's like your body or money, job, anything. It's really easy to compare yourself, especially through Instagram and TikTok. I think a lot of girls go through that also, just before COVID or after. It's just always kind of been a problem through social media.
Yeah, I find that it helps. I have to remind myself all the time that on social media, you're only seeing the best of everyone's life. You're only seeing what people want to put out there of themselves. So you're seeing all of the fun activities that they're doing, all of the pictures that they look the best in, or that they've edited to make themselves look picture perfect. You know, you're seeing all of the most money that everyone's making, but you're not seeing the reality behind all of that, to where that is only the best parts and there are the bad parts that are happening too. So I think when it's constantly in your face of everyone else is out looking great, doing all this fun stuff, spending all this money that you don't know where it's coming from, you're kind of like, oh, like, what am I doing? Just like, I'm just here stinking up a storm, you know, like not having any fun and not doing any of that stuff. And it definitely can make you kind of just become down on yourself.
So what do you guys do when that happens? How do you pull yourself out of that?
I try to limit like who I follow, and if it's really benefiting me by following them. Like, is this just gonna make me upset and compare myself and lose self-love for myself, or is this actually gonna benefit me? Mm-hmm. And if it isn't, then there's really no point in looking at it or following that person.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, limiting intake is the biggest thing that has helped me. I notice a lot, like with TikTok, there's so many opinions being shared on there, which is a really powerful thing. And I think TikTok definitely has its really good pros and really bad cons, because it's cool to be able to share an idea and have so many opinions feeding back in on that, and just be able to communicate on such a large scale with so many other people. But it can get into your head of you're hearing so many other people's super strong opinions, and you're hearing people that are speaking very passionately about topics that you might not know so much about. It's really easy to be influenced and just have your mindset changed by one 30-second video that just you can't stop thinking about, you know.
And you had mentioned, you know, watching the outcome of the war through TikTok, and how different that is from any generation before. Mm-hmm. And the impact that can have on your life. Can you dive a little bit into that part, especially when it comes to compassion, right? Here we are watching the outcome of somebody else's life through a social media. avenue.
Yeah. I think specifically with the war, it made me, made me aware of how much misinformation is spread and how many crazy headlines you see that you don't really read into the story. Like Snapchat has this feature where they have like an explore page where you can view all these news stories, and there will be crazy headlines on it that you just see the headline and then you think about it all day because it's terrifying about war or about a planned attack or something like that. But then you click on the story and you actually read through it, and it's completely unrelated to the headline that you read. And I think TikTok too, like we would see videos that were like taking place out on a battlefield, and then you would read through the comments and people would be like, oh, this video's from 3 years ago, it's not real, people are just sharing this to scare people, you know. So I think, like, again, a way that we can prevent ourselves from falling into the negative parts of social media is just being aware of like how much misinformation again is spread, and just filtering out what we believe. You know, take everything with a grain of salt that you're reading on social media. It's not always facts.
I feel like now that's where we get our information from too, is social media. And I've learned a lot of new things from TikTok and from like Ukraine, what's going on there with soldiers. Like they'll just pop up on my For You page, and it's just like right in your face. But again, you have to be careful with what you take to heart, and I guess make sure what you're watching is true, because I mean that can obviously butterfly effect and like lies and all that stuff happen. You don't know what to believe.